Guys, and welcome to Escape with Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Milifortic reference number S093. I received this watch for free. I don't have to send the watch back, but you guys know the deal by now. No matter how I get a watch in on this channel, you're always going to get my honest opinion every single time. And if by the end of this review you want to pick one of these up, I'll be leaving a couple links down below. One of them is to the miliforticwatch.com site, and that's the official website. I will also be leaving a link to the AliExpress site, so you can pick that up. That is an affiliate link, so if you use that link, you guys don't pay any extra. It's just a nice way to support the channel. The full retail price for this watch is $185 US. That's before any taxes, VAT, coupons, or discounts. And I hope you guys like black, because this is the only colorway available for some reason. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal with clear anti-reflective coating. It has a screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 100 meters of claimed water resistance, Swiss BGW9 Lume on the dial and the hands, and the watch is powered by the Seiko NH38 automatic movement. So this is my first Milifortic watch on the channel. I know they have ties to Baltany and to Octopus Kraken, so they're in good company. And so I say we get right into this full review and find out if this watch is any good. But before we do, doing a quick wrist check today, wearing my Redune R2X, I believe. Review for this one will be coming soon, but there's plenty of them out there already. All right, let's get into the dimensions. Got a case diameter just under 36 millimeters, 11.5 millimeters thick. We got 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip of 43.3 millimeters, and sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist with 2 links removed, I believe. It weighs 127 grams. So this is a pretty typical case size for a watch like this. It's that 36 millimeter Explorer-esque style watch. Yeah, it wears just like pretty much any other one does. So yeah, it doesn't win any points there, but it is light, it's comfortable, and I've gotten no real complaints with it. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and 36 is one of those ones that can kind of go either way. I don't mind wearing them, but I prefer the larger size. But there's no denying that it's super light, super comfortable, and it actually doesn't look too bad on me, I think. And here we are in some direct sunlight, just an inky black dial. Plenty of air coating on the crystal too. Legibility is not an issue with this watch. I think it looks really good. All right, let's go throw it on some straps, because this is going to be a strap monster, and we'll get back to this review. I figured I'd quick throw it on this Tropic style FKM cut to size in blue. I think that looks awesome too. Super comfortable. These will all be linked down below. Yeah, here we are on a Hemsuit vintage leather 2-stitch strap, super thin strap. I think it matches with this black dial really, really nicely. Super comfortable strap too. I think it looks good. Yeah, here we are on a sailcloth strap, black with white stitching. I thought I'd like that more than I actually do. I'm not really sure why I don't like that one. On to the next. And here we are on a new Sifu strap. So this is a single layer of nylon underneath the watch there. So it's very nice. It looks like a double layer, but it is a single layer. That's their specialty. Definitely worth checking out. I'll leave a link for them down in the description. And last but not least, we have just a traditional nylon strap. 2 layers underneath the watch here. This is a Cincy Strapco SF2, so it's a little bit thinner than normal nylon straps, but it still wears very comfortable, very low to the wrist, and I got no issues with it. Doesn't feel top heavy, no issues with strap clearances either, so really happy with this watch. It is an absolute strap monster. Alright, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. Alright, so let's get into the case finishing. Pretty typical for a watch like this. As far as the setup goes, it's a mixture of brushing and polishing. So you have a fully polished bezel there, looking really good. No issues there. I think the bezel proportions to the dial look great. It doesn't seem like a really fat bezel or anything like that. So I think they did a really good job on the proportions of this watch. The tops of the lugs here, they are a vertical brushing, so that differs from the Baltany, which uses angular brushing, and so this is going after the more modern Explorer cases. The brushing looks great, matches with the bracelet perfectly. Yeah, I mean, it just looks, they did a really good job on it. Flipping it to the case sides here, fully polished case sides, you can see they are rounded a little bit there, so you get nice distortions on it. Nice reflections too. There's no real waviness that I can see in there. I think that looks really, really good. Flipping it to the crown side here, you have an unsigned screw down crown. That crown, pretty good size. We'll get a measurement for you, 6.3 millimeters. I do wish they would have signed the crown. It looks a little bare there, but the finishing on the watch is excellent. You can see the transitions between the two surfaces, razor sharp, so no issues there. You know, it's a very flat case, but that's just kind of typical for this style of watch. These lug tips here, the inner edge of these lug tips, they're a little tiny bit sharp, but it doesn't really, you don't feel it on the wrist at all. So in my opinion, it's not a big deal. Flipping it over to the case back here, you have your typical style of case back, screw down case back with this kind of coin edge there for your grip there. I would use a sticky ball or a ball of duct tape to get that off. Yeah, it's a nicely done case back though. There's no like sharp edges or anything like that. Even the bottom edge of the case is nice and rounded off. You have a circular brushing on the bottom of the lugs. Everything seems to be finished nicely. There's no branding or anything like that on it. So yeah, it's a pretty standard style setup on this watch. Yeah, let's test the crystal for sapphire. It is positive for sapphire. So we have a flat piece of sapphire crystal with clear and reflective coating. Yeah, it's a nice crystal. I've got no complaints with it at all. It keeps the dial nice and legible. There's not a whole lot of AR coating, but it is there, and I never say a flat crystal needs AR coating. Rolex doesn't put it on there, so why should these guys for a very small fraction of the price, right? So they do have a little bit of AR coating on there, but yeah, it's not a lot, but it doesn't really need a lot. So you can see it there sitting up just ever so slightly above the bezel there. Yeah, I think it looks good. So there's not too much to say about the dial that we already haven't seen. It's a glossy black background there. You have a white printed minute track around the outside. You have applied indices at all the hour markers, triangle at the 12, 3, 6, and 9 numerals there. It all looks very good. I gotta say, they did a nice job with it. The applied indices, they're nice and crisp. They're filled to the brim with BGW9 Lume. We'll talk about the Lume here in just a second. Simple Milifortic branding there. I do kind of like it. It looks pretty good. The name isn't my favorite, but you know, there's only so much that we can ask for. Then you have your automatic 100 meters down here at the 6 o'clock, and everything seems nicely printed. I've got no complaints with it at all. The handset that they chose on it, really nice size. Again, there's not much to complain about. They're kind of a rounded off hand, as you can, looking at the minute hand here, you can kind of see there's no like abrupt change like you sometimes get with faceted hands. So yeah, I mean, they look good. There's no fluff under the dial or anything like that. The hands are the right size, the right length. Yeah, proportionally, it's a really nice looking dial. And like I said, everything seems to be aligned perfectly on this watch. The Lume on the watch is actually pretty good too. So I'm going to pop up a Lume shot here against a couple other watches, and you can see the Lume on the watch is very good. It's the BGW9, so it's that kind of ice blue glow. It holds strong. It's nice, evenly applied. Yeah, it lasts all night long. I've got no complaints with the Lume on it. Very nice job on it. All right, so let's talk about the movement inside. So the movement inside is the Seiko NH38 automatic movement. So it's a no date movement. So there's no ghost date position, which is nice to see. The movement itself, if you don't know, it's 21,600 beats per hour, roughly 40 hours of power reserve. The hand wind, they're robust. They're fairly accurate. We'll get to how accurate this one is here in a second. But they're just excellent workhorse movements. They're cheap. They're easy to replace. They're easy to work on. And there's plenty of parts available for them if you ever wanted to mod this or anything. So yeah, super happy with the movement in the watch. This one has been running plus 12 seconds a day. I'd like to see it a little bit lower than that, but I can't really complain too much, especially when you got a nice strong movement like this one is. So pretty happy with the accuracy on the watch. The movement is operated by this 3 o'clock unsigned screw down crown, like I mentioned earlier, 6.3 millimeters, I think it was. Pretty good grip on it as well. Nice pop out from the NH38. The first position is your hand winding. Feels just like a regular NH movement. Pull it out to the second position, and that hacks the movement right away. So there is no ghost date position. Everything is nice and smooth here. The crown feels nice and solid too. So yeah, there's again just not much to complain about here. It's looking to be a very nice watch if you like this style of watch. Screw in, screw out action is nice and smooth too. So yeah, there's just nothing really to complain about. All right, so let's get into the bracelet. So the bracelet, I'm pretty sure, is lifted right off of the Baltany Explorer. It's 20 millimeters and tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp. You have screw pins for sizing there. Nice brushing on the top. I think it looks excellent. There's a nice kind of luster to it, or sheen to it. The end links, they're female pivot. They drop straight down. They're cut just a little bit short of the lug tips there, so keeping it extra compact. Really nice tight fit in there. You can see there's just no gaps at all. Really strong spring bars in there as well. And I'm going to pop up a little shot here of in between the lugs. There's a little gap there, which there's a piece on the end link that kind of slides into there. So that keeps it nice and tight too. So yeah, really nice attention to detail when it comes to the bracelet end links there. Excellent. And you can see they follow the case curvature just perfectly. You can barely feel a little gap or a little step there. So really happy with that bracelet there. You have polishing on the sides. Fluidity of the 3-link bracelet is very nice. These are all obviously solid links and solid end links and everything like that that you normally get on a watch like this. So again, there's just not much to complain about. Nice tolerances as well. The clasp here, it's unbranded. I'd like to see branding on the clasp, and it's just a typical 3-level of micro adjust clasp. It's a good clasp. It's milled inner and outer. I think it looks pretty good. You know, nice tight tolerances in here. Everything opens and closes as it should. I did have one issue where I couldn't quite get the buttons to open up, but it seems to have kind of worked itself out, and I haven't had a problem since that one time. So just something to note. The clasp, even this back edge here, front edge here, very soft to the touch. So yeah, there's just not a whole lot to complain about. Again, not a whole lot to complain about. 3 levels of micro adjust. Not sure if I mentioned that, but yeah, the clasp is actually pretty good. I do wish they would have some branding on it, and I think it's a perfect size for this watch. You know, 36 millimeters. Needs a smaller clasp. You don't want it to feel unbalanced, and it does feel very balanced on the wrist, and it's a very comfortable watch to wear. This bottom edge is nice and soft. So yeah, it's just again, not a whole lot to complain about. So there you go, guys. That is the Milifortic S093 36 millimeter exploring style of watch. Yeah, again, like I keep saying throughout this review, there's not a whole lot to complain about. It's a very basic watch. Like, we've seen this watch from Cronos. We've seen this watch from Baltany. We've seen this watch from Bleeger. We've seen this watch from Parnas, I think. Alpha's made some watches like this. So this is not the only one that you can get. I suggest you shopping around and seeing which is which, but this is a very good basic watch. I mean, it's a black dial, exploring, go anywhere, do anything style of watch. It looks great. Thank you to Rolex. It's got really nice set of specifications, good case finishing, good lume, good bracelet. $185 gets you a lot of watch today. You're just going to have to take a little bit of hit on originality. This is a very blatant Rolex clomage, I will say. So yeah, it's just that's something that I'm trying to get away from personally. That's just me. But if you guys still like these watches, this thing is definitely worth looking at. So again, I'll be leaving the links down in the video description. I think that's it for me, though. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.